The Mets play their worst series of the season. Welcome back. Another edition of the Bleav in Mets podcast. There's no funny, fancy cold open for me today because this was a rough one. That's Jack McKessie. I'm Chris Schubert. We're here talking all things New York Mets. It's a series loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks that leaves us asking a lot of questions about a lot of things. Jack, how are you, my friend?
I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little irritated. I'm a little agitated. I will say your opening just being the Mets really kind of sums up what this series was. It was easily the worst series the Mets have played so far this year, I think.
I mean, last episode I could do the cold open of the phone and the we're back department because vibes were high. The vibe's not as high here in this one. The Mets lose 2 out of 3. This series was annoying from the get-go. Even the game they won, I was annoyed by. Like, it was just annoying from the beginning. And it was because, like, Freddie Peralta was good until he wasn't, and the Mets just felt like they were going to lose a game that they shouldn't have lost. Now, luckily, Ronnie Mauricio was the hero in this one, delivering the Mets' second walk-off of 2026, and it was yet again another Mets comeback after trailing through 8, and so credit to them for doing so. I mean, but it got started right away. The offense struggled again, 8 men left on base, 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and I think the storyline coming out of this game, obviously Ronnie Mauricio, first at bat of the season, in a role where he's not going to play much, but he gets drawn right into a big-time moment and he delivers. Outside of that, Freddie Peralta has had what's the word I want to use here? Because it's not a bad start to the year. I would not say that when I'm watching Freddie Peralta, I feel like he's a bad starting pitcher. But it just feels like when they traded for Freddie Peralta, there was a certain expectation of what they were going to get. And so far, the Mets haven't gotten that from him.
I would say underwhelming is a good
That's
word
fair.
there.
Yeah.
When Freddie Peralta came over, a lot of the narrative is a bad word because it has a bad connotation, but a lot of the feeling, the sentiment was that the Mets were getting an ace-level pitcher, a guy that could anchor the top of their rotation, maybe let Nolan McLean get seasoned a little bit more. And so far this season, Peralta has looked more like the 3 starter, and McLean has looked more like the ace, the number 1 starter in this rotation. And part of it is just the lack of length that the Mets have gotten out of Freddie Peralta. It's felt like pretty consistently here now through 3 starts in 2026. He gets to that 5th inning, and then it's kind of a toss-up if he makes it through the 5th, and then once he's into the 6th, it's pretty much a guarantee that he's not going to finish the 6th inning. And like you see the control kind of go away, his understanding and feel for his pitches. In this game, there was a hit batsman that kind of let things get derailed after he got up on a 1-2 pitch.
Yeah. Can we talk about this? Can we talk about the hit by pitch there in the 5th inning? Because to your point, so far this season, it's been a bit of a struggle for Freddie to go deep into games, but he was well on his way to go into the 5th, finish the 5th, and probably start the 6th inning because he gets the first 2 batters of the 5th inning to strike out, and then Corbin Carroll gets him for a single. He walks Perdomo, and then there's this critical moment in the game, right? There's this moment in the game that I think dictates how the rest of it plays out.
Yeah.
He walks Perdomo on a very close pitch. He did not miss by much on the ball that walked Perdomo. And Carlos Mendoza starts to walk up the dugout to go to take him out. And Freddie looks back and he looks at his manager and he just taps his chest and he's like, I got it. Like, don't take me out. I got it. Now, results notwithstanding, because we'll get to the result of the next batter in a minute. I love seeing Freddie do that. I love early on in the season him wanting to be a gamer, wanting to battle, wanting to get that out. I also love this early in the season a manager saying, you know what? Okay, go ahead. You're the ace. You're the guy we traded for. Go do it. Go get it done. You can't hit the guy on an off-speed pitch in the next at bat. You can't have all of that bluster, all of that chutzpah to be like, hey, coach, Carlos Mendy, I got it. And then just go out there and hit him with a 76-mile-an-hour curveball after you're ahead 1-2. Like, you just can't do that.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add there. I think it felt like that moment, and we talked about this in the pre-show, and we will get to it later, was a bit of foreshadowing for what was going to come on later on in the series with a different starting pitcher. But,
yeah.
I mean, I appreciated that in the 8th inning, it felt like Mendy made a lot of the right choices in terms of personnel. He redeemed himself there with, having Tyrone Taylor pinch hit, and then Jared Young sacrifice fly on his pinch hitting appearance. Or Tyrone Taylor pinch ran, Jared Young pitch hitting, getting
I'll
the
tell you
sac
what,
fly.
I was ready to get all over Carlos Mendoza on a cold day, taking Mark Vientos' bat out of the lineup. I was ready. Like, I was pitchfork in hand. I was being like, what are you doing? But it paid off. Jared Young's been great to start the year for the Mets, so you can't really blame Mendy for choosing to go to him. But just in the moment, I was like, what are you doing? That's Mark Vientos. Yeah. He's swinging the hottest bat in the lineup. And then Jared Young just delivers, hits the fly ball that the Mets need.
I was with you. And then obviously the end result being Ronnie Mauricio going into pinch hit for Tyrone Taylor there and coming through in his first step out of the season against old friend Paul Sewald. So that was a positive conclusion to a game that had a lot of negatives in it.
Yeah, shout out to Luke Weaver. I know he's going to get, maybe a little bit of our attention in the finale of the series, but he's been really good to start the year, and in extra innings to put up a 0 for the road team. Like, he just stranded the runner at second base. He was great. It's kind of where the good things end for the New York Mets in this series, because David Peterson goes the next day. I don't know what to do with David Peterson, Jack. I really don't. I don't have a good answer to this. He's getting smoked. Like, the sinker is just sitting middle, and teams are all over it. He stopped throwing it. He stopped throwing it in the second inning of the game. He went away from it for like 3 innings. He didn't throw another one till the 5th. To his last batter of the game, he threw 2. That was it. His most used pitch last season and the start of this year, he used it the least most in this start after it got smoked in San Francisco, and it was getting smoked to start this game. I mean, the pitch is just unusable right now.
I don't really know what to make of the whole, just everything.
He's got an 8 ERA over his last 11 starts.
Yeah, he was an all-star last season, and he deserved it for how well he pitched in the first half of 2025. And then he struggled a little bit down the stretch. You don't know what maybe caused that, if hitters adjusted or what happened. But I mean, I said it to you on Wednesday when this game was happening. Like, it just feels like we've regressed now to the 2020, 2021 version of David Peterson, where like he'll have a blow-up inning and you'll be like, what the heck is going on? And then he'll make a change. Like, he'll stop throwing the sinker in this instance, and he'll settle down a little bit. But that blow-up inning screws you and your team for the rest of the game, because it just feels like the offense had no answer for Ryan Nelson. Like, I just, Peterson is the 2 starter in this rotation, and he's giving the Mets really not a great chance to win in his last 2 starts out so far.
He's thrown 61 sinkers this year after it was his most used pitch last year. Do you know what guys are hitting against the sinker this year? And I'm not really the big believer in the whole, batting average on one specific pitch, because sometimes you don't throw a pitch for a strike. They're hitting 563 on the thing. And it's his most used pitch.
It's not good.
Last year was a 306.
I was looking over at his StatCast page, and I am seeing a concerning trend. Obviously, we're only 2.5 weeks into the 2026 season.
Yeah, what is which one of these bad metrics on his StatCast page sticks out to you?
I'm going year over year. So I'm looking at his 2024 metrics right now. Fastball velocity, 92.5 miles an hour, 26th percentile. 2025, 91.7 miles an hour. So a decrease of, what is that?
Math, dude.
About 1 mile per hour from 2024 to 2025. So 2025, 91.7 miles an hour on his fastball. That's now 14th percentile. Move ahead now to 2026. Again, small sample size, but down from 91.7 miles per hour to 90.8. So another drop of like a full mile an hour on his fastball, now down to 5th percentile. And Chris, I think that might be the answer there, is if he's losing ticks of velo little by little, hitters are just catching up. And like, when you're in a league where fastball velocity is at a premium right now, and hitters are getting even better at picking up on the fastest pitches that are being thrown, a sinker that's going like 90 miles an hour is not going to be as effective as when it was 93 miles an hour 2 years ago. And we saw it in this game. He just had to completely stop using it because it was no longer effective.
Yeah, none of his pitches are working. I mean, if you just look at run value numbers on all of it, it's awful. He's got one pitch that has a not negative or 0 value, and it's a slider. Last year, he had 3 pitches. Even the sinker was better last year. The curveball was better last year. The changeup was better last year. And so it's just, he's fighting it. And it's I know I saw some stuff get thrown around that, he's generating ground balls still at an elite level. Like he's generating weak contact, yet it's still turning into hits. And sure, that's part of it, but there's also part of it where I look at what his expected ERA is, and it's still a 4.81. That's not going to get it done. The expected batting average is a 2.83. So sure, maybe David Peterson is a little unlucky, but just the eyeballs tell me, was he unlucky in San Francisco? Was he? I mean, they were all over it. They were smoking the ball against him. Was he really that unlucky in this start against Arizona? And sure, maybe you can be unlucky in a 2, 3, 4, 5 start sample. This is dating back to post All-Star game last year. I mean, this is not a insignificant sample. And you and I were talking off air yesterday of like, Christian Scott had a good start down at AAA. Like, are the Mets just going to keep, wasting turns through the rotation if Petey can't figure it out? And he pitched again in this game as a piggyback. It's not like Sean Manaea is lighting the world on fire and you want to go to him.
Right.
Maybe it's Tobias Myers as a one turn through, give Petey some time. But at some point, the Mets are going to. And the problem is, I don't want to move Tobias out of the role that he's in because he's been great at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's just this is a really awkward thing for the Mets. And, even if they go to a Christian Scott or a Jonah Tong, although I think they're going to give Tong basically all season in AAA. They're not going to rush him. I think Scott, since he was at the big leagues and was looking good before he got hurt, I think he'll be the first guy that gets the call. You then have all righties in the rotation. And I don't know if the Mets want to do that. I think the Mets want to have somebody that mixes it up and is kind of there in the middle as a lefty, but maybe they don't care and they'll just throw out their best 5.
Yeah.
But right now, David Peterson's not one of their best 5. He's just not.
Right. And I wanted to add to your point about the expected batting average, the expected ERA, whatever, like that's the numbers with him stopping throwing that sinker and like finishing out the rest of his outing fine, not giving up any more runs after that big blow up. What does it look like if he's still throwing a sinker? Like if he's still throwing the pitch that was previously his most used? Like obviously he couldn't keep throwing it in that start, but are we projecting for the rest of the season now he's just not going to use the sinker anymore because it's no longer effective? How does that affect how he's able to attack opposing hitters when, again, his most used pitch in previous seasons? Like, how is he going to be able to shift his entire strategy to stay effective and not be giving up a bajillion runs? Like, it's creates this awkward situation, like you said, where the Mets, it feels like they need to demote him to a different role and bring up a guy like Christian Scott to fill in that role in the rotation. But then, like you said, all righties. And my suggestion to that is, maybe they go for an opener, like if that's a big concern. They have Richard Lovelady right now. AJ Minter's on his way back. Just had his first rehab appearance in, was it single A or double A? You got Brooks Raley. You've got, who am I missing?
Well, the thing I would worry about doing that, though, is Minter and Brooks Raley are two of your higher leverage arms. And am I really interested in burning them in the first or second inning? Like, I hear you. That is a way around this where you can have them take the first turn through and at least force the opposing manager to not just load up his lineup with lefties, and they have to at least respect it. But you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Like, you're trying to fix one issue, but now all of a sudden, hey, Luke Weaver, Devin Williams, you just got to do it all today. Like, it's just a really awkward way to do it, where it would just be nice if David Peterson could be the guy he was in the first half of last year and the guy that he was in 2024. Like, just be that guy. Just be that pitcher again. And I think so far in the early part of the season, this is Justin Willard's like biggest project. Like, this is like what he has to put all of his energy into, is like getting David Peterson back to a place where he is a competent starting pitcher for this team.
Yeah, and I will say, like, for the 3, I guess, biggest question marks on this team, because we expected Peterson to look more like first half David Peterson coming into this year, or we hoped he would. We expected Freddie Peralta to be the ace, but the 3 question marks were Kodai Senga, Nolan McLean, and Clay Holmes, and so far they've been great. So
fantastic.
Like, if Justin Willard is able to get David Peterson back on track, if he's able to get Freddie Peralta in a place where maybe he doesn't give length, that has never really been his MO, but is able to get more consistently through those 5 innings cleanly, then, like, I'm okay with it. It's frustrating to watch every 5th day David Peterson go out there and just not really give the Mets a chance to win, especially when the offense is struggling the way that it has.
Well, now we have our leading candidate in the clubhouse for worst loss of the season here in the series finale. And we haven't touched on it through the first 3 games because I kind of been saving most of my anger for when we recap this game. The Mets lose 7-1. They waste a brilliant start from Nolan McLean. And this offense is just so inconsistent right now. And if not for huge games against Pittsburgh to open the year, 2 back-to-back huge games against San Francisco, I mean, there's not a whole lot to write home about. If you just look at the last 4 games, so the 3 in Arizona and the finale against San Francisco, they've scored 12 runs over their last 4 games. That's 3 runs per game. That, over the course of a full 162 season, 3 runs per game right now would be the worst in baseball. Cincinnati has a 3-run per game offense right now. And overall, the Mets are top 10 in runs per game because of those big crooked numbers that they've put up twice in San Francisco and against Pittsburgh. And so, look, Francisco Lindor's hitting 157, doesn't have an RBI yet this season. Bo Bichette, I thought something was there because he had put together a bunch of multi-hit games. He's still hitting only 228. The only guy hitting on this team, truthfully, the only consistent, because even Mark Vientos had a rough series here, and he's the MVP of the offense. It's Luis Robert. He was the only offense in this game with a home run. He's the only consistent hitter that this lineup has right now. He's working good at bats. He has the occasional strikeout where you just don't understand what the plan was when he went up there, but he's working good at bats. He's drawing walks. He's putting together hits, and it just feels like consistently he's the only guy in this lineup that you can count on. I mean, Francisco Alvarez, it's just so boom or bust right now. Brett Beatty doesn't feel like he's gotten it going. Marcus Semien, you thought you found something in San Francisco. He's still hitting 213 to start the year, and so you get Nolan McLean's best start of the year. I mean, I don't know if there's a pitch nastier than the front door sinker that he was throwing all those lefties last night. I mean, that front door sinker also made the Diamondbacks waste a ABS challenge. Like, Adrian Del Castillo was so confused by the pitch that he's getting them to waste. They burned both of their challenges like in the first 5 innings of the game. Like, it was great. It was everything that you want Nolan McLean to be, and he was like, there's no question about it in my mind. Like, he's the ace of this team right now. Like, like Freddie Peralta is great. Clay Holmes has been great. Kodai Senga looks like he's going to return to form. Like, this is the ace of the team. This is the guy that you every time his name comes up and you know he's pitching, you're gonna make sure I'm going to watch this game, because maybe you're not like Jack and I and you sit down and you watch every single Mets game throughout the course of the season. You pick and choose, right? You got a job, family, you got stuff going on. You're going to pick Nolan McLean starts. Like, that's going to be your barometer of, I'm going to watch the Mets today. And they wasted it. And they wasted it because their offense is just so lifeless right now.
I'm putting this on you, Chris, because last episode you said, this is just Jacob deGrom. I'm watching Jacob deGrom pitching again.
And then they gave them the Jacob deGrom run support treatment.
Was the epitome of a Jacob deGrom start back when he was at his peak in those Cy Young seasons where the record was not there, but good Lord, the stuff was there. The results were there for the starting pitcher. And, I mean, in this game, it's Luis Robert hitting the home run in the bottom of the first inning. And then, it's just Nolan McLean dominating for the better part of 6 innings and into the 7th, where he, like you said, the front door sinker and then the back door, the sweeper that he's getting, and sometimes the front door sweeper that he's getting on these hitters. It's it's going to be so fascinating to watch how many ABS challenges that he is going to get opposing teams to burn because of how nasty his stuff is. I think we're going to see a lot more hitters thinking that, the ball is, there's no way that was a strike. It broke too much. It had to have broken out of the zone, or it didn't break enough. There's no way it broke from my right hip into the zone. No, that's just how his pitches are. And to have him have a start like this, which easily his best start of the season so far, 8 strikeouts, just the 2 walks, 3 hits, 6 1/3, incredible. And then no offense to back it up. It just, you said he was Jacob deGrom, Chris, and that was exactly what the start felt like to me.
Well, since we're channeling past Mets and making comparisons, let's talk about that 7th inning where Mark Vientos reminded me of Lucas Duda in the 2015 World Series, because the defense for the Mets got a little out of hand there, and you have taken on a mantle this year where you just text me throughout the course of the season and in the course of a game, and you just give games names. You're just oh, April 1st, the everybody's asleep game. You just text me this. You're like, this is this game. We had the Jared Young game, right? In San Francisco. You have called this game the in air quotes, the
huge air quotes
run prevention game, because the
run prevention game.
The Mets defense kind of failed them there in that 7th inning. And listen, there are 2 plays that everybody wants to talk about. One of which I think it's fair to talk about. One of which that I think it's a little unfair. I don't know if the Mets have a right fielder on their roster that's getting to that baseball. I don't know. But it's just Brett Beatty hasn't played the position a lot, so you knew when it got hit, like, this is going to be a tough one for Brett.
Would Tyrone Taylor have gotten to that ball if you were playing on the other corner?
Get to it or catch it.
Watching the replay, it looks like Beatty doesn't know where the wall is, and so he slows down as soon as he hits the track, and it lands off of the bottom of the fence.
It does look, just from the naked eye, like it's a poor route to the baseball. Like, it just looked like
it's definitely a poor route to the baseball. I think the question is more like,
let me see here.
Could he have still caught it despite it? Like, it felt like the ball was in the air for forever, and then it hits the base of the fence.
What?
So
that was the 7th inning. That was the Gabby Moreno double.
Yes.
Let me see if I can see. Like, is there a catch probability on this?
No, it was the Adrian Del Castillo double, I think. No, that was because I was to left field, so it had to be Gabby Moreno.
Gabby Moreno's double, 99.3 miles an hour off the bat. I just don't know if I have a catch probability on this play. Because I don't know, like, he got back there, and you're just like, oh, he's not. Like, it's one of those things where you've been watching baseball long enough, you're like, oh, he's not in the right position. Like, he's not getting to it.
And you can also just read the fielder's body language, and she's like, oh, he does not think he can catch this.
Right, he just doesn't feel comfortable. Like, he doesn't feel like he's in a good spot. And so, again, I don't know if Tyrone Taylor gets to that ball. I just don't. Like, I don't. Let me tell you this, and maybe this is going to be, the pitchforks are going to come for me the way they're coming for David Stearns. I mean, Juan Soto doesn't get to that ball if he's playing right field.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, I think Soto struggles with it.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
That was a tough one.
I'm looking. All right, Gabby Moreno double. The expected batting average was 450.
I mean, he smoked it. He smoked it.
I'm trying to. I don't know if I can see fielding there, but like, just a frustrating result, and then to have the Mark Vientos play.
Oh my goodness.
Which is the Lucas Duda play that you're referencing.
Mark.
I mean,
we got to make
that's a play you've got to make.
Well, yeah, because it changes the complexity of the inning, right? Because at that point, it's McLean had gotten one out. So if you make that throw home and Torrens lays down the tag, it's 1-1 and we've got 2 outs.
Yes.
It's a totally
no
different
sac fly in play.
And now again, you don't know how you pitched the next batter.
Correct.
A fallacy of the predetermined outcome. But let's just assume it does go that way. It's 1-1 now. Like, you feel a lot differently about the game and the
bullpen
inning.
is used completely differently.
Right.
Like, the guys who come out are completely different. It's not Luis Garcia and Richard Lovelady if it's a 1-1 game, I'll tell you that.
Boy, there's nothing that Jack hated more after this was seeing his 2 favorite pitchers out there in that bullpen get the rest of the work. And Luis Garcia was good his last time out.
Yeah, the day prior he was fine.
Yeah,
but oh man. Man.
And again, it all goes back to the bullpen let him down for the first time this year, because while yes, the defense was bad, like, Luke Weaver wasn't sharp. Like, Luke Weaver was all over the place in
this
that
was definitely Luke Weaver's worst outing.
The defense betrayed them. And what has been a constant so far this year is the offense has betrayed them. There's not scoring enough.
I think the biggest problem that I can point to this series is, like, they're just not stringing together hits at all. Like, it was one thing when they were getting runners in scoring position and then not taking advantage. This series, the finale, they had 5 chances with runners in scoring position, 0 for 5. 5 chances in the second game of the series, 1 for 5. And in the first game of the series, they were 2 for 7, and they won. So they're just not performing in, like, a consistent way. There's no like meshing together of this lineup right now. And I do appreciate, like, Luis Robert is the consistent hitter on this team. Like you said, the single most consistent hitter. He's slowly working his way up the lineup, and the results just still are not coming, because he's up to 3rd in this finale after he was the cleanup hitter for the first 2 games, 5th in the lineup to start the season. Now he's up to 3rd. Obviously, Juan Soto being missing is a huge problem, but you got to find ways to win with the rest of your roster when there are guys that have historically been at least decent hitters.
Yeah, I mean, they're not striking out as much as they were last year, or at least it doesn't feel like they are. Like, the ball's getting put in play, but I can't tell you how many times, and I've started doing something new this year where I have on my tablet, like, a digital scorebook. And so I'm scoring the game just so I can, quick hand reference it when we're doing the recaps here in the podcast. I can't tell you how many times I'm writing, like, 4-3, 6-3 in the just weakly hit ground balls that just don't turn into anything. And like I compare it to what the Diamondbacks did in this series. Like they were doing nothing for large stretches of this game, but they put together that one rally, that one inning, and it was the bottom part of the order turning it over and setting up big chances for their guys at the top. And I just didn't see that for 3 games from the Mets. Like I just didn't. I just didn't see it. And it's a huge problem. I don't know about you, but it feels like Francisco Lindor is off to a worse start than I've ever seen him be off to. Like it feels worse than it's ever been. I don't know if that's like accurate because he's been off to slow starts in the past. Like this feels just awful. Like it feels like when he's up there, I don't expect anything right now.
I'm consulting his StatCast page because what I am thinking I'm seeing, and I don't remember if it was the second game of the series. I think it was the second game where he hit a ball kind of into the gap, but he didn't drive it enough as he usually did. And I'm wondering if it's the hamate bone injury. Like the power just still has not returned for Francisco Lindor and ended up being an out that specific hit. But like I'm looking at his average exit velocity here, 90.5% off 90.5 miles an hour off the bat last year. It's down to 87.9 so far this year. Again, small sample size. We don't know all the factors at play here, but I'm wondering if that's the hamate bone thing could be a reason for that. Like that specific play I mentioned could have been a hit, but then you look at some of the other results that he's had, and it's like weak pop outs in foul territory, weak ground outs. He's just not putting together strong contact on the ball in addition to a lack of power.
Yeah, it's just it has not been good, and it really hasn't been good for the whole team so far. One other thing from this start for Nolan McLean. I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with the decision to go to Luke Weaver. He's been one of your best relievers and getting out of that jam. I do think what Freddie Peralta did a couple of days ago played into Mendy's decision to not give Nolan another batter. Like I certainly think Mendy was like, all right, I did this once this week. I'm not doing this again. Like I'm going to the bullpen. It had to play on his mind at least a little bit. And that's why it's you got to come through in those moments because it's going to impact the manager when that situation comes up again. Like, and I know it's a different pitcher, but it just happened 2 days ago.
It feels very similar to the Tim Leiper third base coach approach where it's like he makes the mistake and then all of a sudden you swing the pendulum fully the other way and you get a lot more conservative on how you allow runners to run to advance and pitchers to pitch to continue their outing.
Shout out to Francisco Alvarez in the first game of the series. He just ran through the stop sign. He just didn't care. He's like, I'm scoring on this play, which is not great, but you know what? Like, it
ended up working out, so it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. Tough one for the Mets here against the Diamondbacks. We're trying to get this podcast out as quickly as possible because it is a 3-game series against the A's starting tonight. It is old friend Jeff McNeil, who I just, he's going to go like 6 for 12 in this series against the Mets. It's just how it's probably going to go.
No, I don't know if he's that guy. I don't know if he's the Daniel Murphy, the new Daniel Murphy, where it's like he just kills the Mets as soon as he returns.
You don't think so?
Harrison Bader has kind of taken on that mantle, and I didn't expect that to happen.
Although they handled Harrison pretty well in the San Francisco series.
This year they have.
Yeah, so
last
far so
year,
good.
different story.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah, it was awful.
But I mean, I don't know. McNeil's like near the top of the leaderboard in bat speed decreases year over year from last year to this year. So I don't know. But obviously, all that said, you're probably right. Now that I've jinxed it,
it'll be JT Ginn against Clay Holmes tonight. Jacob Lopez, Kodai Senga on Saturday. Iron Savali against Freddie Peralta on Sunday. What's interesting about this A's team, at least early on in the season, the question was, hey, are they going to be able to pitch? You weren't worried so much about their hitting, but so far this year, 16th in average, 24th in on base, 24th in OPS, 19th in home runs, 19th in runs scored. So they are off to for what we thought their team was going to be, an uncharacteristic bad start. You've got Kurtz with a 628 OPS. Soderstrom's got a 620 OPS. Brent Rooker having a terrible start to the year, 538 OPS. Jacob Wilson is struggling to start the year. They only have 2 batters with a WRC plus over 100. It's Shea Langoliers with a 182 and Max Muncy down there at the bottom part of their lineup at 161. So it's an offense that is struggling. It's a pitching staff. Jeffrey Springs just pitched a gem the other day against the Yankees in the finale of that series. So you're missing him. You're getting the bottom part of this A's lineup. This should be a bounce back spot. It should be. this should be a chance for the Mets offense to get going, to not make silly mistakes out there in the field, and to get back into the win column and snap this 2-game losing streak. But I thought the Diamondbacks were a good matchup because you come in and you're playing a team that hasn't scored in forever. And then yesterday, they sit Corbin Carroll because he's dealing with an injury, and they've got Gabby Moreno a day off behind the plate, and you still give up a 7 spot. So I don't know with this team right now. And I think their 7-6 record is extremely indicative of the way they're playing right now. It's very up and down to start the year.
Yeah. And I'm projecting for this series. I'm looking forward to watching the Clay Holmes and Kodai Senga starts, and I think this could be an opportunity for Freddie Peralta to step up, especially with this lineup that's been a little shaky so far in Sacramento. So I don't know. It's just frustrating to have this nice road trip and then to come back and not perform at home, and it sucks.
Yeah, it just hasn't been enjoyable. But I mean, the starting pitching's been relatively good. So, and you've got 3 starters going this weekend. Even Freddie, who has struggled to start the year, just has been underwhelming. Has been okay. He's been good.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been that great that we expect from him. So, we'll see. We'll see what the Mets are able to do here over the weekend, and we'll be here to break it all down when they do. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, that follow button, wherever you're listening to us on the podcast platform you want to watch the show. Jack McKessie, McKessy on YouTube. The march to 250 subscribers before the All-Star break continues. You can be a part of it. The Mets play a tough one. Rough series against the Diamondbacks, but they're back at it again tonight. So hopefully you can enjoy this pod before that series gets underway. We're back to recap the A's a little bit over the weekend. And as always, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.